Most people carry a fear that they rarely talk about. It's not war, it's not illness, it's money. Bills, debt, inflation, rent, mortgages, the worry of losing a job. These are the invisible weights that gnaw at the back of your mind every single day. They sit there quietly, shaping decisions, limiting creativity, and convincing us that our freedom is conditional, dependent on balances in a bank account or the next paycheck. But here's the thing, money isn't just a tool to exchange goods. It's also a leash that society uses to keep us compliant, to keep us running a treadmill while pretending we're free. We grow up learning that money equals security. From childhood, we're taught to get good grades so we can get a good job, a stable income, and eventually a mortgage, a pension, and maybe someday retirement. But few of us stop to ask whether the system we've been handed actually serves us, or whether it serves someone else entirely. Today, we're going to explore what it really means to break free from financial fear, why the system is designed to keep us anxious, and what steps we can take to reclaim real freedom in a world where money too often dictates how we live. We're taught that money equals security, a steady job, a pension, a mortgage, a retirement plan. Follow the script and supposedly everything will be fine. But the reality is far more complex and far more controlling than most people realise. The system itself is designed to create insecurity. It thrives on fear and it thrives on our dependence. Take fractional reserve lending, for example. Most people don't understand how this works, and that's by design. When you take out a loan, the bank doesn't have all the money in their vault. They create it from nothing. A few keystrokes, a few database entries, and suddenly the money exists. You take it, and then you're expected to pay it back, with interest. Here's the kicker. The money for the interest doesn't exist yet. The only way the system works is if more debt is created by someone, somewhere. This means the economy is mathematically designed to keep people borrowing, chained and under constant pressure. Families, nations, entire economies are trapped in a loop where survival depends on continued borrowing. It's not a bug, it's the very structure of the system. This is why families live paycheck to paycheck, why nations drown in trillions of debt, and why fear is the engine driving the entire machine. Fear of missing a payment, fear of losing a job, fear of not being able to pay rent or provide for your family. Fear of an uncertain future. Fear is invisible, yet it shapes the choices we make every day. Our careers, our homes, our spending, and even the way we think about what's possible. Consider the psychological weight. Most people never stop to calculate how much of their lives is governed by fear. It's subtle, it's unconscious, but it's there. The fear of financial insecurity limits creativity, prevents risk-taking, and reinforces dependency. Fear is the glue that keeps society obedient. We've lived through that fear ourselves. When we quit our jobs and moved into a small caravan, the uncertainty was deafening. What if it fails? What if we run out of money? People around us thought we were insane. Honestly, we weren't sure ourselves. But something shifted when we faced it. It didn't vanish. Fear never truly disappears, but it became manageable. We discovered that our needs were far simpler than we'd been conditioned to believe. Real wealth doesn't live in a bank account. It exists in resources we control, in skills we develop, and in choices we can make without asking permission. That realization cracked the illusion wide open. Other experiences reinforced it. Years later, when Russian stocks we owned were frozen during sanctions, it was a stark reminder that your money is not always under your control. You can plan, save, and invest, but the system can intervene at any moment. That kind of control can be subtle, like high inflation eroding savings quietly, or sudden, like a government freezing assets. Feeling it firsthand is different from reading about it. It leaves a mark. It's one thing to know intellectually that the system is flawed. It's another to feel it, to understand how fragile the constructs we rely on really are. And once you feel it, your perspective changes. Breaking free from financial fear isn't about chasing millions. It's about reshaping how we think about wealth, control, and freedom. And wealth isn't just numbers on a screen. For us, it's sheep grazing in the pasture, jars stacked on shelves, firewood cut and stored for winter, and solar panels powering our home. These are assets that cannot be erased with a keystroke. Holding some tangible assets like real silver and gold is another strategy. They are outside the banking system and outside the reach of digital manipulation. And even as we diversify our holdings, we make conscious choices about trust. We keep most of our money in a broker account, not in a bank. Banks are not guaranteed safe. Accounts can be frozen. Banks can fail. That reality teaches you humility and vigilance. Digital money is evolving rapidly. Central bank digital currencies are coming. Programmable money that can track every purchase. Everything you buy can be monitored. Your ability to spend or save could theoretically be controlled. This is why private alternatives like Monero are so important, a cryptocurrency that cannot be monitored by governments or corporations. That's why the elites dislike it. They don't want people to move, transact, or store value outside their oversight. Privacy isn't optional if you want freedom. Money without privacy is just another leash, subtle but restrictive. Keeping your savings in cash guarantees slow, almost invisible erosion. Inflation is relentless. Your purchasing power diminishes every year. Many people are conditioned to believe that putting money in a bank is safe, but the system quietly eats away at the value of those savings. Alternatives do exist. Real silver and gold are time-tested hedges against inflation. And for viewers in the US, companies like Birch Gold Group, which we are affiliated with, can be a way to diversify assets and protect wealth. Don't let the system quietly steal your future while you sleep. Understanding inflation, interest, and systematic monetary manipulation is the first step toward real autonomy. There's another often overlooked dimension. Money stifles creativity. How many inventions, books, songs, or businesses have never come to life because the question, how would you pay for it, stopped someone in their tracks? Even when something appears free, it often costs privacy, attention, or data. Money filters every dream through a gate. Can you afford it? And in doing so, it strangles imagination. Resisting that gate requires reframing wealth and freedom and recognizing that real creation doesn't always need a bank balance. Ultimately, freedom doesn't come from chasing millions, it comes from resilience. Learning skills, growing your own food, holding tangible assets, developing independence. These are the things that remove fear far more effectively than a paycheck ever could. Resilience is freedom, the ability to survive, create, and make choices on your own terms is the real currency that matters. Financial fear is one of the greatest tools of social control. Fear of losing a job, fear of not paying rent, fear of seeing savings vanish. All of it keeps people obedient. Fear ensures compliance. It shapes behaviour, limits choices, and discourages dissent. New layers of control are emerging. Social credit scores, digital benefits, food stamps, all systems that can be switched off if you step out of line. These tools of compliance aren't hypothetical, they're already operating in parts of the world. The logic is simple. If your financial survival depends on external control, your behaviour becomes predictable, obedient, And that is why resilience, being able to handle life independently, is the most potent form of freedom. True freedom is not about wealth alone. It's about the capacity to act without waiting for permission, to create and sustain life on your own terms. Breaking free from financial fear isn't about getting rich. It's about refusing to let money or the fear of losing it dictate your life. It begins by questioning the system itself, redefining wealth, and building resilience outside the grip of external control. Tangible skills, self-sufficiency, hard assets, and autonomy create a foundation that no system can easily shake. That's what NFH Freedom is about, exploring ways to break free from financial fear, from consumer culture, from dependency. If this resonates, subscribe, share with a friend, and stick around. We are just getting started.